We now know more about the fatal shooting of a Sandoval County sergeant. New Mexico State Police today released their entire 73-page report on the fatal shooting.
Sergeant Joe Harris was shot by a murder suspect who had been hiding out in the Jemez Mountains for years and burglarizing cabins up there to get food and other supplies. Here's News 13's Jim Winchester with more about the report.
And, Dick, this report does not make any conclusions, and the district attorney has yet to announce if there were any procedural mistakes in the surveillance operation. But it does go into detail about what happened in the early morning of July 16th.
The report summarizes that Sergeant Joe Harris and Deputy Teresa Moriarty were on undercover surveillance with the intent to apprehend Joseph Burgess. He was wanted for burglarizing cabins in the La Cueva Jemez Mountain area over the past 8 to 12 years. They arrived just after midnight on July 16th and set up inside this cabin with the knowledge and permission of the owners and the Sandoval County captain in charge that night. Before arriving, Deputy Moriarty accidentally locked her police gear inside her camper. Deputy Moriarty told investigators Sergeant Harris advised her to proceed without her police gear and sidearm and gave her one of his guns to use while inside the cabin. While on stakeout, the report reads, quote, Deputy Moriarty stated that she and Sergeant Harris both fell asleep in the early morning hours of July 16, 2009. They were awakened to the sound of the kitchen window breaking and waited as Burgess entered in the darkness. After a brief struggle, they managed to handcuff Burgess, but he then pulled out a hidden weapon from his waist area and fired twice at Sergeant Harris and 3 times at Deputy Moriarty. Sergeant Harris was hit twice and then lunged on top of Harris. Deputy Moriarty couldn't fire the weapon Harris had given to her, so Harris grabbed it and shot Burgess twice in the head, killing him instantly. Deputy Moriarty screamed for help over a two-way radio while Sergeant Harris remained on top of Burgess in an attempt to suppress the bleeding from his inner thigh. When the first local volunteer paramedics arrived, Sergeant Harris was alive, placed on a gurney, and stated, quote, please don't let me die. He later died at UNM Hospital.
And after the shooting, neighbors told investigators that they had questioned Burgess about the break-ins. They say Burgess threatened them and mentioned that he had a gun and would shoot people. Now, Sandoval County Sheriff John Paul Trujillo declined to comment today. Dick, back to you.
All right, Jim, that 73-page report makes no mention of a bounty hunter who sources have told us was hired by authorities to track down Burgess last fall. Those same sources told News 13 that the bounty hunter was shot at by Burgess.